Seriously, you shouldn't have had a baby with your ex. Oh wait, was it because you couldn't forget about me? Did you think having a kid would keep us connected somehow?
How ridiculous. Looking back now, I realized breaking up with him was the best decision I ever made. If I'd stayed with such a clueless man, I never would have found the happiness I have now. Today, I want to share the story of that unforgettable dark chapter in my life and how I turned the table. My name is Rachel. I'm a 53-year-old stay-at-home wife who finds joy in leisurely doing housework while watching the morning news. Back then, I was 38 and living a peaceful life with my husband, Tom. But around that time, a subtle unease started to creep into our home. Tom's responses to me began to feel oddly cold, almost intimidating or disinterested. So, well,
I'm busy now.
whenever I tried to continue the conversation, he'd shut me down immediately. It wasn't just dismissive. It felt like he was brushing me off. He wasn't always like that, though. If anything, he used to love chatting, cracking jokes whenever he could, and trying to make me laugh. But somehow, he changed so drastically. The shift was so sudden that I wondered if I'd done something wrong, but nothing came to mind. One day, I noticed a faint lipstick stain on the back of Tom's shirt, the one he'd sent out for laundry. He had worn that shirt on a night he came home late, saying he had to work overtime. I couldn't imagine anyone at his all-male workplace leaning against his back with lipstick on. If there was someone like that, well, that would be a terrifying thought in itself. Could it be a woman? The thought came to me naturally, but one lipstick stain wasn't enough to be solid proof. He could easily claim someone accidentally bumped into him or something. I decided I needed to watch him carefully and gather more evidence. Ironically, once I paid attention, the evidence of his cheating practically fell into my lap. For instance, every night around 2 a.m., Tom would get up to use the bathroom. I'd never questioned it before, but it turned out he was sneaking into the bathroom to call a woman. Once, I even found a long hair stuck inside his suit jacket. Looking closely at his handkerchiefs, there were sometimes traces that looked like lipstick stains. The final straw came when I borrowed his car for the first time in ages and found a tinted lip balm. Unless Tom had suddenly taken to wearing colored lip balm, this was the most damning piece of evidence yet. After 10 years of marriage, I was torn between the bitterness of losing Tom to some random woman, the loneliness of not wanting to be alone, and the love I still felt for him. Can we really not fix this? Is there any way to make him look my way again? Is there any way to rekindle what's gone cold? Just when I was feeling this way, I discovered I might be pregnant. Pregnant, now of all times. This must be a gift from God. Of course, that was my first thought. We didn't have any kids. Maybe the boredom in our relationship is what led Tom to cheat. If that's the case, maybe this pregnancy could change things. Clinging to that hope, I told Tom about the pregnancy. But my hopes were shattered so easily.
What? Give me a break. This is such a hassle. Let's just break up.
I couldn't believe my ears. Looking back now, I realize how naive I was. A cheating man rarely comes back. Life doesn't play out like some feel-good TV drama. But at the time, I truly believed we could work it out because we had dated and married each other. How can you say that? This is your child.
A kid's better off without a father like me. Besides, you already know, don't you?
The smirk on Tom's face made my heart skip a beat.
That I'm cheating.
Pretending not to know about his affair, and hoping this pregnancy would fix everything felt like I'd been pushed off a cliff. I thought that if his cheating came to light, things would get so tense between us that Tom would never come back. But I misjudged that too.
I wanted you to find out. I've been making it obvious, but you never said a word. I got tired of waiting.
What?
I was waiting for you to say cheating is unacceptable. I want a divorce. Seriously, stop wasting my time.
You've got to be kidding.
No way I'd go through all this trouble for a joke. I've got a cute 24-year-old girlfriend now. Why would I want a 38-year-old who's just going to get fat from pregnancy?
Tom burst out laughing alone. I didn't laugh at all.
Here, take this. I'll pay alimony or whatever. Just hurry up and sign.
He handed me the divorce paper. I cried for 3 days and nights, and when I realized Tom wasn't coming home anymore, I finally made up my mind and signed them. 5 years later, I was afraid of growing old alone, but thankfully, I remarried my childhood friend Jason, who had also been through a divorce. Jason's wife had cheated on him, so he knew what that pain felt like. Because we shared that experience, our life together felt incredibly comfortable. Every year on our anniversary, he books a nice restaurant, and for my birthday, he gives me thoughtful gifts. I feel cherished. I hope this life lasts forever. That's what I thought as we celebrated another wedding anniversary. This year was supposed to be another lovely dinner at our usual fancy restaurant, but it didn't turn out that way.
Oh, Rachel.
The person who openly grimaced when he saw me was Tom. What are you doing here? I couldn't help but let my disgust show on my face. What a nightmare. I had just stepped out of the restroom and bumped into Tom by chance.
It's a business dinner. Unlike you, walking around with nothing better to do, I'm busy. Wait, who's this?
Tom glanced behind me and started walking over.
So you actually had that baby from when you were pregnant with my kid? Gross.
He said this as he grabbed the kid's hand and inspected him, then blurted out something outrageous.
Seriously, you shouldn't have had a baby with your ex. Oh, wait. Was it because you couldn't forget about me? Did you think having a kid would keep us connected somehow?
Tom smirked and laughed, pulling the boy's hand and spinning him around. The little boy's face contorted, and he started screaming.
Mom, Dad, help me. Some strange man is taking me.
There, I'm your dad. And your mom's right there. You're just as dumb as she is.
The moment Tom said that, a man over 6 feet 3 inches appeared behind him and grabbed his arm tightly.
This child happens to be my kid.
What?
Seeing Tom's stunned expression, I almost burst out laughing.
Is this guy your new husband, Rachel?
I didn't respond to Tom's question.
I don't know what you think you're doing, but you made my son cry. Did you really think you'd get away with that?
The tall man glared at Tom as he spoke. A glimpse of a tattoo peeked out from his arm, and the moment Tom noticed it, his face turned pale.
Wait, Rachel. Tell your husband to back off.
This woman isn't my wife.
What?
Tom looked baffled again, glancing between me, the man, and the crying child.
Wait. Then whose kid is this?
Before he knew it, Tom's arms were pinned behind his back.
There's a crazy man harassing my child. Somebody get the staff. This man is a threat to children.
The man's shout caused a stir in the restaurant. What a disaster on our wedding anniversary. Even so, I couldn't help but smirk. In a strange way, it felt like the day had turned out well after all. Waiter, Over here. I saw this man grabbing a child's arm. Tom gaped at me in shock.
Wait, Rachel. What are you doing? I seriously don't get what's happening.
As Tom frantically shouted, I said calmly, I'm not this man's wife, and that child isn't mine, and he's certainly not yours.
But he was right behind you.
You were blocking the narrow restroom entrance, so the boy couldn't get through. He was just trying to follow his dad into the bathroom, and you got in the way.
What?
You're trying to make a fool of someone, but you really should look around more carefully before you jump to conclusions.
Shut up. I don't need to hear this from you.
No, you don't. A man like you wouldn't understand words of wisdom anyway.
I'm not a creep.
Oh, really? You grabbed a random child's arm and said, I'm your daddy, in baby talk. How is that not creepy?
That's not what I...
And then you told me, Mommy's right there, as if we were still married. Are you seriously still living in that fantasy? I smirked as I said this, and Tom's face turned bright red with anger.
Don't mess with me.
But the louder Tom shouted, the tighter the man's grip on his arm became.
Ouch. Damn it. Let go, man. I'm innocent.
Innocent? You made my son cry, didn't you?
It's a misunderstanding.
You misunderstood, and then grabbed someone else's child. That's a fact.
You.
Tom glared at me. Oh no, the creepy guy is glaring at me. So scary. I said it in the most exaggerated, sugary sweet voice I could muster. It must have hit a nerve because Tom started thrashing wildly, trying to break free of the man's grip. You really thought we were still married? Oh wait, could it be you just can't forget about me? I threw Tom's own words right back at him. As expected, he got furious, and sensing danger, the man holding him down tossed Tom to the floor and pinned him with his weight.
If you think you're getting out of this hold, you're dead wrong.
To the man, it was just a calm warning, but combined with his tattoos, it was genuinely terrifying. I'm sure Tom thought today might be the end for him.
Come on, Rachel. Tell him it's a misunderstanding.
Dragging someone else's kid by the arm isn't a misunderstanding.
I thought he was my kid.
Tom's voice was trembling, almost crying, like a child himself. I couldn't help but laugh. You didn't even acknowledge the child, never paid a dime of child support, and you're calling him your kid?
What?
Did I ever ask you to acknowledge the child or talk about child support after we divorced?
Well, even if you asked, I wasn't planning to acknowledge the kid. You knew that, which is why you never contacted me, right?
Are you stupid? If I had a kid, there's no way I'd let you off that easy. I'd hound you until you paid.
Wait, then why?
At the time, the pregnancy test was wrong. When I went to the OBGYN, they confirmed I wasn't pregnant, which sealed my decision to sign the divorce papers. Yes, it's true I spent those 3 days crying when Tom left the house after the divorce talk. But I couldn't let things end so chaotically if I had a child. So I went to the OBGYN first. Even if I planned to divorce, I needed to sort out things like alimony, child support, and living expenses. I was even ready to endure the marriage if it meant the child would benefit. But instead of pregnancy, the doctor found a tumor on my ovary. When I had surgery, it just so happened that Jason's mother was in the same hospital room. Since Jason was my childhood friend, I knew his parents well. We reconnected when Jason came to visit his mother, and we grew close again. At the time, I thought getting pregnant was a gift from God to save my marriage with Tom. But in reality, it brought me someone much better and allowed me to detect my illness early. And last year, despite having one ovary removed, I had a child with Jason. It might look like a string of bad luck, but for me, everything turned out for the best. When Tom found out, his face went pale.
You've got to be kidding. I got dumped by that girl.
Oh, so he got dumped? I couldn't help but laugh. Well, of course a young girl wouldn't want to stick around for an aging guy like him. Just then, the police arrived, apparently called by the restaurant staff. Tom got a stern warning from the police. Luckily, after apologizing profusely to the family of the child involved, the situation didn't escalate further. The police reprimand must have really shaken Tom, because he even apologized to me. Since Tom didn't know where I currently lived, he didn't apologize to me directly. Instead, he went to my parents' house and told my mother he regretted the terrible way he ended things. Getting older, being dumped by his mistress, and finding himself ignored by everyone seemed to break his spirit. The incident left him feeling the loneliness of having no one to comfort him. But it was too late for apologies. I've been ignoring Tom ever since. If we hadn't run into each other that day, I wouldn't even have remembered him as often as I did. By the way, Jason realized I was taking too long to come back and had come to check on me. But he stayed hidden, figuring this might be my one and only chance to get back at Tom.
Of course, I was ready to jump in if anything happened, but that guy holding Tom down was just too strong.
Oh, I heard he used to be a captain of a football team.
Well, no wonder. That guy was terrifying. I thought he was in the mob or something.
Jason laughed, and I couldn't help but laugh along with him. Normally, someone might say, that's not very manly. But I was glad Jason didn't get involved with Tom. I felt it was a problem I needed to handle on my own. During the divorce, I realized I hadn't been strong enough. Looking back, my actions at the time were weak. I went along with Tom's demands, agreed to the divorce, and only got the standard alimony from him and his mistress. Reality isn't a fairy tale. There was no way I'd get a massive settlement, and I didn't have the strength to fight back. But in the end, standing up to Tom with unwavering resolve made me feel like I finally became stronger. Now, at last, I can hold my head high in front of Jason and our child. By a twist of fate, that year's wedding anniversary became the start of a new chapter in my life. Now, with Jason working as a freelance architect and earning double what he used to, I've quit my part-time job and am happily enjoying life as a stay-at-home wife. Our daughter, who's going through a bit of a rebellious phase, complains when we ask for help. But if we stay quiet, she quietly pitches in. That sweet, stubborn side of her is a secret Jason and I share. Since I had her later in my life, she's our only child. But with the three of us and our 2 dogs, our days are full of noise and joy. Even though Tom and I never had children, I was able to get pregnant and give birth with Jason, despite having only one ovary. I can't help but think it's fate. As a child, I secretly dreamed of marrying a special soulmate. I never imagined that dream would come true through remarriage. Thinking about it now, I cherish these ordinary yet extraordinary days of happiness more than ever,